Hey guys, King of Charmanders here. Today I bring to you a video on a new element. Blast is coming. So this video analyzes the new element likely coming to Monster Hunter now very soon. This new element is Blast from the main series games. And we'll take a look at how Blast works and its possible impact on the meta. So I'm not just saying this, no, if you read into the Get Ready for a Monster Summer, as you see right here, as I box it out, we've updated the roadmap with the latest coming to Monster Hunter now. Updates bring new monsters, new weapons, and even new elements. Now here's the even more interesting part. It says elements. The thing about it is, Blast is the only element left from the main series games unless you get really fancy with it as far as the main elements go. So, could we have exclusive elements coming to Monster Hunter now, or just more elements derived from other places in the main series games? Well, we're gonna find out. We know for sure, at least I think for sure, Blast is coming because of a certain Elder Dragon coming soon. First, we're gonna start off with the history of the Blast element, and this source is from GameRant. Blast was first introduced in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. It was actually called the Slime element, as it was related to Brachydios. It's Brachydios. I always got this one wrong, so I think I still say it wrong, but it's Brachydios. So, if you read this thing in the middle right here, it says the status effect was introduced back in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate when it was known as the Slime element due to its association with the Brachydios. It was retooled in the 4th generation onward as Blast, utilized by monsters capable of creating explosive powder, and makes for a pretty useful weapon element against most monsters in Monster Hunter World. Hunters will have an easier time breaking monster parts by building up a certain amount of blast damage in certain places. While some monsters, like Anjanath and Teostra, can resist blast damage, it makes for one of the best weapon elements to have in Monster Hunter World and its downloadable content. So after Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, then it became in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate and Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, and then after that, it started to be known as Blast. And then Blast was then introduced again in Monster Hunter World, and again in Monster Hunter Rise. So it's been around for a minute. So how does the Blast element work? Well, Blast is not a damage element like Fire, Water, Thunder, Ice, and Dragon. Blast is actually a status element, like Poison, Paralysis, and Sleep. Every time you attack, a status element will build up. Once it reaches a certain amount, it inflicts a status onto the monster. So you inflict blast buildup, it blasts the monster. Well, you don't really blast. The thing is, when you do enough blast buildup attacking a monster, blast will detonate and do a one-hit explosive damage onto the monster. So you might have saw in that demonstration with this video sourced by Capcom USA, and you saw that when you use the defender weapons, guess what? The monster, there's this little explosion, and then you do damage to the monster. And what better way to show Blast than an example from Monster Hunter World? So here's an example from Capcom USA's Defender Weapon Showcase. These weapons have the Blast element. So if you look to the right, the Defender Katana has the Blast element. So Defender Katana 1, element Blast, and after a certain amount of hits, you will see Blast proc and create an explosion which deals damage to the monster. As you see in this example right here, bam, hits monster, explodes, and does damage. So when will Blast come into Monster Hunter now? Well, Blast will likely come to the game when Teostra releases. And Teostra is the upcoming Elder Dragon coming to Monster Hunter now. Teostra can inflict Blastblight, which can cause you to take blast damage after a certain amount of time, or if you take a big enough impact. I forgot when I first fought this thing. It was a long time ago. Many moons. And I remember the first time when Blast was a thing, and I moved around and it exploded. I thought it was the coolest thing on earth. So will Blast be powerful? We'll have to wait till it releases to see. I don't like putting things on or doing analysis on something unless I practice it for a bit and then I see data on it. So once I see data and then practice it, I'm like, all right, this is good or this is bad. So yes, before I actually talk about anything like weapons, etc., I make sure I play around with it for a while and I'm like, all right, is this good or is this bad? Because I have 2 of the most powerful weapons in the game. And depending on how good the Teostra weapon is, I'm probably going to go after that bow too. Or I probably won't, I'll just wait for the next Elder Dragon. But the thing is, Blast was very powerful in the earlier Monster Hunter games, like Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. but it balanced out later in the later games. So I remember in 4U, yeah, 3U and 4U, when it was back in Slime, I was like, oh, this is really good. And then it balanced out in the later games. It was still really good in World, and when you used it, especially that's why they put it for the Defender armor, because when you did enough damage, I think the blast damage was amazing. So with that being said, please do me a huge favor, like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. Hopefully y'all are excited for Teostra coming into the game and to try out the new Blast element. Good luck on your grinds, and I will see y'all on the next video.